Hello, you're welcome. You're welcome onto my channel today, and it gives me great joy to observe you are viewing this video. I'm Dr. Olayin Kakole. I'm a lecturer in the university. I'm a sociologist. I'm a researcher. On this channel, I do a number of stuffs, and all these stuffs I do, you can easily group them into four: sociology, research, relationship, and migration. But the video you are viewing right now is within the framework of sociology. Meanwhile, have you subscribed to this channel? You know, what are you waiting for? Kindly go ahead and click subscribe on your screen right now. Tap subscribe on your screen right now to subscribe to the channel for wonderful content and regular content that will do you enormous good. The title of the video you are viewing right now is Cultural Integration and National Identity. This video is very important if you want to understand the importance of culture, element of culture, the necessity of cultural integration, and the relationship of this with national identity, development of national identity, and implication of all of these to human action. Meanwhile, for you to understand this video very well, I recommend that you view two related videos on this channel. You can look at my playlist on sociology. I have 4 playlists on all these, my 4 areas. If you look at the playlist on sociology, you will find the video, Cultural Diversity and National Development. Then there's another video on what is culture and why studying people and cultures in sociology. These 2 videos will assist you in understanding this video very well. So let's dive deep into it. Then what is cultural integration? Cultural integration talks about people from different culture coming together and adopting the essence of another culture. People from another culture coming together to adopt the essence of another culture. That means, for example, you are from a country with many cultures. Cultural diversity. For example, you are from United States of America, you are from Canada, you are from Australia, or you are even from Nigeria or Ghana. You have so many cultures in these particular countries. But now, when you have people of different cultures coming together to adopt the essence of a culture, a central culture, for example, that means you are not relinquishing your original culture, but everybody takes a component of the original culture and adopts elements of another culture that everybody then come together. Or not that you are abandoning your own original culture. Cultural integration does not mean abandoning your original culture. It simply means going along with your original culture and adopting the essence of another culture that everyone that subscribes to cultures of others, at the same time maintaining your own original culture. This is what we call modal culture or cultural fusion. Fusion of different cultures. Cultural infusion. Bringing other people's culture into your own and bringing your cultures into others. To the extent that even though we now say there is unity in diversity, there is homogeneity in heterogeneity. So that's what I mean by cultural integration. Maintaining one's culture while at the same time accepting or adopting others' culture. This is very important. That means other people's culture then form part of your own culture. Your own culture forms part of others' culture. So we then have a cultural integration that all cultures then come together and integrated in a coherent whole. So we are not seeing the diversity as a problem anymore. We are only seeing the diversity as complementary. That all these different cultures then complement. Maybe you are an Ashanti, or you are Aborigines, or you are indigenous population, depending on the country you are. So you are accepting other people's culture at the same time accepting your own. That means you have your own food, but you also accept your food and the food of others. Your own ways of dressing, your clothes, your greeting, your language, your belief systems, your attitude, your traditions, your customs, your norms and values. You accept them fine, but you also accept those of others. That means you do not practice ethnocentrism. Ethnocentrism is also on this channel. It means judging other people's culture on the basis of your own culture. For example, believing your own culture is superior to the cultures of others. Negative judgment of other people's culture. And this is very dangerous. So that means in cultural integration, we are talking about cultural melting pot. Cultural melting pot. Different cultures coming together and melted in a way that they complement each other. So this assists a particular country or society to form a sense of community, to see everybody as one. So rather than seeing people of different cultures as different, you then agree that people of other cultures are also very important and identical. So, but this cultural integration does not mean a principle of assimilation. It doesn't mean the principle of acculturation. It doesn't mean that then when these cultures then come in contact and one begins to dominate others. No, it simply is identical to association, whereby all cultures then come together and fused into one another in the sense that they then form a sense of community. Respect for every culture, that's what it means. You respect other people's culture, and other people also respect your own culture, and everybody is integrated. Everybody appreciates the diversity. And this cultural integration we are talking about is very important in multicultural society. Like this country I've mentioned, even in Asia, all over the world, there's diversity all over the world now. In terms of language, Canada does not speak only one language. Even if you look at South Africa is very much multilingual, multicultural. They have 11 lingua franca, 11 official language in South Africa. So, and everybody accepts everybody as important. So cultural diversity does not have to be a problem. Cultures can integrate in a way that they can even form a national identity. Look at the example of South Africa that I just mentioned. Different languages, different cultures, but they have come to accept everybody to the extent that they believe, aside English, there are other languages that are considered as lingua franca, national languages, and they are spoken across. So there are advantages. When you have cultural integration, it leads to unity. It leads to national consciousness. It leads to formation of national identity. It will lead to progress and sustainable development because people will not be engaged in cultural superiority and context. It brings peace. It brings global competitiveness. That means you can leverage those cultural elements and you begin competing. It leads to national pride, national dignity, cultural innovation. You can innovate from the culture. So the diversity should actually be a strength. Ultimately, you are Hausa, you are Igbo, you are Yoruba, you are Tiv, you are Jukun, you are Nupe. You are all over the place. You are Yoruba, you are Igbo. But this does not be a problem. It should not be a problem at all. It doesn't matter where you are from. Everybody can coexist together. But it can also have disadvantages because if people begin to compete, one culture wants to dominate your other in form of assimilation or acculturation, your cultural competition or disunity, it becomes disadvantageous. But if you take the advantages, then it benefits everybody. Then what are the factors affecting cultural integration? What are the factors? Number one, technology can affect cultural integration positively or negatively. Social media, if you hear negative things too much on social media, can lead to problem. And if you use social media to promote cultural integration, it's advantageous. Then you talk about global media network, talk about cultural imperialism. When people want to lord their own culture over others, then it becomes a problem. Actions and inactions of government. When state actors begin to take advantage of others, it can lead to problems. So government must be responsible and act appropriately to the extent that people feel encouraged to continue to subscribe to that particular culture. Then transnational corporation can also be factored. All these big companies, if they represent the culture in a negative way, if they attack people's culture, can lead to a problem. So you have technology, global media network, social media, cultural imperialism, action and inaction or responsibility or irresponsibility of government or transnational corporation. Now, how do you promote cultural integration? Number one, through education and awareness program, like I'm also doing now as I'm teaching this course, this topic. I'm also creating, educate people about the importance of cultural integration, rather than culture can be used for development rather than culture as a tool for division. They talk about, cultural festivals. You can organize festivals to showcase culture, then multicultural initiatives. These are very important. Cultural competency training. People can be trained in some countries abroad, even in the US and the UK, even in Australia, even in Germany. Before you are allowed to integrate in that country, definitely you are expected to demonstrate some cultural competency, that you understand the culture very well. Then creation of inclusive setting for every culture. This is very important. Every culture should be allowed to be considered important and be inclusive. Intercultural dialogue is also very important. Diverse representation represents every other element of the culture very importantly. Give every culture equal representation, and this is very important. So what are the components? This is very important. Components of cultural integration. Number one, open-mindedness. People must be open-minded. Even you have to be open-minded. You should not allow stereotypes or prejudice to affect the way you perceive other people's culture. For instance, Hausas are like this, Yorubas are like that, the British are like this, Americans are like this, without any scientific basis. That means you are not open-minded. You have to be receptive of other culture. Then you have to be dynamic. That is, you must be open to new things. You can't just say it's only about your culture. You must be open to new things from other culture. And this is very important. Then there's relational self-concept. You must see yourself as an entity, and you must be able to relate with people with other cultures and be able to accept them. We call it relational self-concept. Don't see yourself as being too superior to others. Then you must have active empathy components. Active empathy. You must be empathetic towards other people's culture, and this is very important. Now let me tell you another point. What are the 4 stages of cultural integration? Before people or groups become culturally integrated, what are the 4 stages? Number 1 is what we call honeymoon stage. Honeymoon stage. Note at this point, you see I'm presenting this systematically. I'm presenting them systematically. Make sure you are taking note of all of this. There are 4 stages of cultural integration. Number 1, honeymoon stage. This is when you come in contact with other people's culture and you are excited. Maybe you're in another country, you have just migrated to another country, you are seeing a new culture, and you are very excited about it. We call it the honeymoon stage. Then we also have the crisis stage. This crisis stage where you now have culture shock. Maybe you see something entirely different from your culture, and you wonder, wow, what is this? Maybe it's different belief systems. Ooh! You have culture shock. You have profound psychological and social orientation that can be something very traumatic. We call it culture shock. Then the third one is recovery stage. Once you have honeymoon enjoyment, then you move to crisis, then you will recover over time. As you get used to that system, then you call it recovery stage. That begin to begin to understand the situation. The last stage is adjustment. Once you adjust, then you become integrated. That you now adjust to that culture. You understand their importance. That the culture, though they are different from your own, they are not really bad because they are not your own does not make them bad. So this is very important as we look at all of this. Now let's look at national identity. What is national identity? National identity is also what we call national identifier. National identifier. National identity is the overall sense of belonging to a national identity, overall sense of belonging to a nation, to a country. Then again, national identity means defining characteristics of a group of people. What you see about that people that you say, oh, this is the identity of this country. So, and the state can have a national identity, even though you have multiple nations in the state. You can still say, like Americans will say, okay, Americans are like this, British are like this. This is very important. You can still have, defining characteristics. Ghanaians are like this, Nigerians are like this, Saudis are like this, Australians are like this. You know something about them. Usually not negatively, but that's what we call national identity. What you see that define the entity. So what are the elements of a national identity? It talks about their culture. Culture is people's culture. Talking about their culture, their tradition, their values, belief system, symbols. Even you can have the flag, national flag, coat of arms, the uniform of the army, uniform of the police. These are all you see that make you feel that this country is this country is that. That's what we call the national identity. You know, and when you look at the material culture, like like the way of dressing, the architecture can give you an idea of what the identity of that place, or non-material culture. You can also see all these languages, and greetings and the rest of them can give you a culture. So people belong to a culture, and culture belong to people. So now, importantly, is that national identity overrides personal identity. Once people have personal identity, national identity, personal interests are then subsumed under the national identity, and the personal interests are subsumed under the national identity. People trade away, sacrifice their personal identity for national identity, sacrifice of self for national interest, to the sense that everybody feel loved. People feel loved. People feel national pride. Pride as citizens. They are proud citizens of those countries. Like the Americans. I love the Americans. They will say, God bless America. So you can also say, God bless your country. God bless Ghana. God bless Nigeria. God bless Saudi Arabia. God bless Kuwait. God bless Australia. God bless South Africa. God bless Britain. God bless England. God bless Republic of Ireland. God bless every country. So when people have their national pride, they say, God bless our country. Don't curse your country anymore. Say, God bless your country. Culture is who we are, and national identity is who we are. God bless your country. God bless my country. So when people have national identity, they have pride. There is defining characteristics of that country that people share. So importantly, you must know, before I go, that cultural integration is equal to national identity. National identity is equal to national integration. When people are culturally integrated, it will lead to national identity. When people have national identity, it will lead to increased cultural integration. So the cultural integration and national identity, they are mutually reinforcing. They are highly related. They have symbiotic relationship. One affects the other. National identity will lead to further cultural integration. But cultural integration will also lead to national identity, and they continue to be like. So your culture must be fully integrated for national identity to continue to be reinforced. Oh, I enjoyed myself in this lecture today. Till I see you in my next lecture, kindly subscribe. Click subscribe. Tap subscribe on your screen and share widely and tell others. Bye for now.